Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Governance and Priorities Committee meeting for Tuesday, October 4th. We have an agenda, Mr. Coleman. Do we have any additions or deletions?
Nothing else from administration, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Looking for someone to move the agenda as presented. Thank you, Councillor Lewis. All in favor? Unanimous. We have minutes from our September 6th, 2022 Governance Priorities meeting. Thank you. Councillor Wanchuk will move those as being accurate. All in favor? That's unanimous. On to 4A, Economic Development Update, and welcome to Mr. Brad White. I think this is your first presentation to Council, so welcome.
Thank you and good morning, Madam Chair and members of Council and those watching today's proceedings. My name is Brad White. I'm the Manager for Economic Development for Leduc County. This verbal update is for Council for Leduc's newest economic development staff and structure and our activities. Back in March of 2022, administration set to bring forward a investment strategy, activities and performance measures to promote Leduc County's value proposition. The update builds upon the upcoming implementation of Leduc's County's new investment strategy, which will be presented by the Senior Business Advisor, Bob Murray, on October 25th at the Council workshop. It is administration's recommendation that Council receive the Economic Development Update report as information. To provide a little background, the 2022-2025 strategic plans roadmap directs administration's activities that are in the best interests of Leduc County's residents, businesses, clients, and our partners. Leduc County has recently made some changes to its economic development operations to align with Council's strategic vision and expectations. The new team is comprised of an economic development manager, myself, economic development coordinator, Brianna Kampula-Young, and economic development officer, Maureen Easton, who are both engaged with business activities at this morning, with also a vacant position expected to be filled before year's end. A robust economy is one of Leduc County's strategic pillars, with economic goals set for attraction, resilience, diversification, and the food and agriculture production sectors. Some of economic development successes are measured in this strategic plan as investment strategy, an increased non-residential tax base, creation of a business center, and promotion of our agriculture producers. Economic development has initiated a new integrated touch points with other Leduc County departments intended for investment certainty and offer development options. So for an example of that, working with engineering, planning and development, and making sure we're both talking to each other and that those opportunities are identified and we explore solutions. The new work also includes advocacy for new Leduc County investment, working with administration with an economic development lens to remove barriers for development. Some recent activities that we've gone through in the last month include the new Leduc County Business Entrepreneur Center, also known as the BEC, previously known as the Nisku Recreation Center, and that will be developed into a business incubator and support center for the economic development team, also moving in early October. The center's redevelopment is supported from a federal grant and will have a grant-funded building operator to lead these buildings' expected business support incubator activities before year's end. The customer relations management system, it's called Salesforce, is in its testing phase, and it is intended for us to track our work, our activities. It provides performance measurements and should be live by early December 2022. The recent business retention and expansion survey is expected to provide administration with a picture of our business partners' perspectives and assist our business support work. We will report on these findings to Council during a future update from administration. As well, economic development has enhanced engagement with its regional partners, including the Collaborative Economic Development and Edmonton Global, increased targeted attendance at economic events, and we will expect to have a 2023 work plan soon. These activities align with Leduc County's strategic planning and development's operation plan. And while it is administration's recommendation that Council receive the economic development report as information, Council's options are to accept this report as information or that Council could provide another direction for administration. This concludes my verbal report and available for any questions that Council may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Open the floor for questions. I have one question. Last paragraph, it talks about enhanced engagement with regional partners. So how will that be different than what we experienced prior, Mr. White? How when you talk about enhanced?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So at the moment, as I understand from previous administration, the level of engagement that was for those attendants to especially events like the Collaborative Economic Development, Edmonton Global attendance, but also some of our partnerships with GEET, which is the Greater Edmonton Economic Development Team, and also that some of our engagements with realtors in the area, developers in the area, and making sure that we have those touch points with all of them so that any sort of investment or attraction activities that we are well involved in that. And we're also well aware of that too, and that they feel that we can be someone that they approach as well, but also with our regional partners as well. And that we have more of a presence at the regional table when it comes to economic development.
And I appreciate that. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of gentlemen from Edmonton Global at an event I was at. I think it was the Derby, and they had 3 or 4 of these big investment opportunities that they were talking about. I'm thinking, well, those would fit well in Leduc County because of what they needed, but I hadn't heard them come forward. So I'm glad to hear that there's going to be more focus on that, because I think it really is listening with an ear that is focused on what we have as assets to be able to try and attract that in. So glad to hear that. Thank you.
If I may, Madam Chair, just add to that, some of the events we attended through Edmonton Global were site selectors that came in from the United States, and we attended both of those sessions. We also attended an event with Edmonton Global where they had brought in a AI investor into the University Enterprise Center in downtown Edmonton, where we were also at that event too, and making those connections and touch points so that they know we are there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good to hear it. Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Lewis.
Thank you. At our Pembina Zone meeting yesterday, there was a gentleman that was formerly from Edmonton Global, and he was talking about being in Dubai and talking about honey. And they said, why don't we know about it? Because they could get our honey here at a much lower cost. And they said, because your marketing sucks and we don't know that you exist. So how do we change that? How do we get Leduc County to be out front and center, and places like Dubai know that we have like top quality honey or products that we can get out?
Thank you. Through to you, Madam Chair. One of those things is with Edmonton Global, they do a lot of outbound missions, and their expectation is that they are going to be going around the world and telling the story of the Edmonton region. And it will be up to us to make sure that Edmonton Global knows what we do have and what we don't have. And right now, we through the business retention expansion survey that we've done, we are also looking at what those sectors and subsectors are that we do have in this region, and we can examine those things, and then we can tell our story to Edmonton Global and also to our other partners and investors that are coming around the area, as well as the airport.
Okay, any other questions? Councillor Smith.
Again, I'm always looking for a little bit more results from Edmonton Global. I'm just wondering what opportunities do we have to reach out on our own. Edmonton Global is really expensive and really doesn't have a lot of wins other than the hydrogen win that they're claiming. So I'm just wondering, do you have any idea how Leduc County, of course, everybody believes in doing everything together, but in the end, I think it just comes down to the site selectors decide which county, and we all compete against each other anyway. So do you have any initiatives that can get us past Edmonton Global? Because I don't think Edmonton Global is going to last 5 years.
Through to you, Madam Chair. I would say our activities are going to be Leduc County first, and that we are going to look at every opportunity and every method that we can so that we can get our municipality out there in the forefront, and so that when they are looking at the Edmonton region and the type of opportunities that we can provide, that they are going to have our name up in the forefront. And I think I understand where you're coming from, Councillor, and happy to have those conversations and show what activities we are going to be doing to ensure that Leduc County is seen.
Mr. White, what other relationship do we have? I know you talked about our partners. Again, talking to Mr. Keenan from the airport, they bring in a lot of investors. Are we at that table with them? And if we're not, what could we do to make sure that we're at those discussions? Thank you.
Madam Chair, I can tell you that we have reached out. I have reached out directly to Myron, and I've also had some initial conversations with some of the airport executives, and I've had a relationship with some of them in my other lives in the region as well. And while the airport has a lot of autonomy and acts on its own, I think that there is a lot of opportunity for those ancillary uses that are going to be supported by the airport, especially with Myron's vision of how he's going to expand the airport and the Aerotropolis model.
Thank you very much. Good to hear. I am seeing no more questions. Looking for someone. There's two motions, one to accept for information, the other one to provide direction. Looking for someone. Councillor Smith.
Accept as information.
Thank you very much. Any further comments, questions, debate? I am seeing none. All in favor? Thank you and good luck. Okay, on to 5A. Q3 2022 Long Range Planning Quarterly Update. We have Mr. Evans and Ms. Oakley. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, I think you just shut it off.
Oh,
There.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's actually Oxley is my last name.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. And as I just noted, my name is Karen Oxley, and I'm the new Senior Planner of Projects. I've learned a large portion of those projects lie within the long range planning wheelhouse. So here I am. Today, I'm here to provide you with a brief update of our project work over the last quarter. I'll start out in the east with our Southern Country Residential Area Structure Plan. Staff and the consultant are working to put the finishing touches on the SCRASP revisions as requested by Council back in July. We are planning on launching the public consultation for SCRASP following Thanksgiving. Based on public feedback from previous public engagement events, it was decided that the most efficient approach to reach out to the public would be through what we're calling kind of a hybrid approach. So this means that the plan, a summary, and a recorded PowerPoint will be posted to the project page. We'll give an extra, I think we were talking about 5-week time period, which would be longer than we would normally allow for that kind of input. The public will be able to either email the project planner directly with a ask a question button or encouraged to reach out by phone or in person. Mailed notifications will also be postal mailed to landowners within the plan area, as well as any other groups or individuals that had previously expressed interest in the plan. And we were just able to confirm yesterday that SCRASP will be tentatively scheduled for first reading December 13th, and the public hearing will likely follow in January. Moving over to NISCU, the Central NISCU Local Area Redevelopment Plan. The Central NISCU LARP remains paused due to the ongoing work on the NISCU capacity assessment being coordinated through engineering and utility services. A reassessment of our timelines assumes that delivery of the capacity assessment data by the end of the year would bring us back to council in the summer of 2023. This time gap would allow for the consultant to incorporate the utility data, a thorough internal review, as well as a full public consultation, including an open house. Staying in NISCU, repeal of the North Major Area Structure Plan and alignment of the existing local ASPs to the NISCU Major Employment Center Area Structure Plan. Sorry, I've got a lot of acronyms on my page here.
You're a planner, we understand.
Since the repeal of the North Major Area Structure Plan and the East Vistas Local Area Structure Plan Amendment in May, staff continues to work through the task of consolidation and revisions to the WAM, the Queen Elizabeth II, and the Royal Cabrera Local Area Structure Plan to ensure alignment with the statutory framework. Yeah, just a lot of busy work on our end. And finally, the MDP implementation and monitoring for 2022 will begin in January, and it's anticipated this information will be shared in Q2 of 2023. Otherwise, we're keeping busy with some side of desk action items from the MDP, which hopefully we'll be able to add as completed to the MDP monitoring. concludes my update. And then if the administration has any questions, we'd be happy to respond. Thank you.
Questions? I have a couple, and I know this says long-range planning, so maybe my questions are long-range planning. Where are we or what are we doing around either Saunders Lake or south of Devon? I know that Highway 19 may be finished this year. I'm hopeful. I'm looking at Miranda, her eyes are up. It may be done. So that's the potential to start building there. But we haven't really had an update of where we are. And the same with Saunders Lake. As we open up the Nisku Spine Road, we know that's going to be. So is that like long range? Mr. Evans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so the Northwest Saunders Lake area structure plan was approved by council. Probably going to get this date wrong, but I believe it was 2017. So that area structure plan is in place and we are ready for development there as it comes. There are some very minor changes that need to happen to the ASP now that it is embedded within the major employment center area structure plan. So it'll become a local area structure plan within that. But fundamentally, the form and function of the ASP will stay intact. In terms of the south of Devon area structure plan, administration and council took a high-level review of that plan last year in conjunction with the revisions to the Devon IDP that happened at that time. And so fundamentally, that area structure plan again is in place, and the policy context is in place there to allow development to proceed when it comes forward. There are a couple of servicing is expensive in that area, and so there's some challenges in developing out that area, but certainly we continue to work with the development community.
So should a developer show up Leduc County tomorrow saying they want to go to Saunders, we're ready to accommodate. Great.
Absolutely.
So not quite shovel ready, but at least planned ready. Excellent news. Councillor Blaser?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the long range ideas too. Out in Councillor Scobie's area, we have the power plant with a lot of land and no people. Is there any plans in the future that maybe we could set up some kind of industrial or something to maybe get some activities on land that's not being used?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that's something that we are in continuous conversation with the landowners and Capital Power in that area. I would maybe just reference the municipal development plan update that'll come forward next year to maybe start some of that conversation. There's also a need to revisit the Genesee area structure plan in the not too distant future. So probably within the 3-year work plan, we'd be looking to revisit that with council. But yeah, so there's a couple processes there, but certainly we're aware of some of the challenges in that area.
Thank you. Further questions? How delayed is the infrastructure assessment going to make our redevelopment plan in Central Nisku? Like, are we looking at months or years, or do we have an idea? I know it's out of our control, but.
Through your chair, we're hoping for summer 2023.
Okay.
To bring that forward to council, probably for first reading. It's a big plan and we
Yes.
want to make sure we get it right.
Okay.
So, just taking that a little extra time to make sure we do our internal reviews, I think is pretty critical on that one.
An idea. That's
So
all I wanted.
fingers crossed.
Great. Any further questions on Q3 2022 long range planning quarterly update? I am seeing none. Someone want to move the report for information? Councillor Blaser, thank you. Comments, questions, debate? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you very much. And I'm looking for someone to, I believe, move us in camera. Councillor Scobie, thank you. All in favor? And we'll wait a minute until
These ones are like, no, you can get some like these Mercedes and stuff, like I would buy the whole gear, the little bike pass, little cycles. And I would just sit on it and I'd get it started and then everybody go, oh my God, he's really cycling, good for him.
I will tell you a story when we're done the meeting here. Thank you very much. Councillor Lewis moved us out of in camera. We made no other motions in our in-camera meeting except for that one, but I am looking for someone to move just for information, the in-camera item. Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Scobie will move just the report from in-camera. Yep. All in favor? Unanimous. And that is our meeting for this morning. We have no business arising from the in-camera session. Thank you for joining us, for those who did, and I will adjourn at 10:49.